Hi guys, I'm going to test some lenses today, and if you stick around to around the end, you'll see the value of having decent lenses. Although decent lenses are very expensive, sometimes we got to make the best of what we got. That's certainly the case for me. I have to use lenses from junk shops or that have been donated to me, or sometimes I can afford to buy the occasional manual focus lens from one of the Chinese manufacturers. They don't tend to be so horrendously expensive, but a lens can cost thousands of dollars into the tens of thousands for the really fancy ones. You'll see later on that it really matters to have image stabilization in your lenses. You'll see when I test the 75 to 300mm lens that its usability for video is virtually non-existent because it doesn't have any stabilization. Whereas the lens I'm currently using, which is a 16mm prime, it's got image stabilization, and it means that it, in conjunction with the camera's electronic stabilization, it can help to reduce the movement of even my walking, which with no stabilization at all, it looks really horrendous. It looks like a drunken sailor. Speaking of sailors, it's really cold today. It's one of the reasons I wanted to come out, because there's no humidity in the atmosphere, so you can see for miles. And it's quite a nice scene, although it's very, very cold. It would freeze the balls off a brass monkey. Don't worry, monkeys were not harmed in the production of this video. A brass monkey, or a monkey, was a device for holding cannonballs on old Royal Navy ships. So when it got very cold, they would say it could freeze the cannonballs off a brass monkey. That's where that saying comes from. So guys, I've got another lens to try, another stabilised lens with a bit more punch, so we might have a look at what's going on out there. I think all the boats are heading for port. I think it's going to be a rough one again tonight. There was snow on the mountains last night, and that's a dead cert that winter is here. So it's very, very cold. I'm not used to this. I'm wrapped up warm, but I'm still feeling cold. I dread to think what it feels like out on the boat. So let's try this other lens and get out of here. Cheers guys, bye. So guys, this is a 55 to 210mm lens. Stabilised, image stabilised lens, working in conjunction with the electronic stabilisation in the camera, and it's giving quite a reasonable, we're being blown around a lot here, but it's still giving quite a reasonable stabilised picture, which is pretty good really. Man, it's cold. Whoa, it's very, very cold. So I don't know how well this lens will behave from a stabilisation point of view, but we can but see. I don't think it's too bad. The bright sunshine's gone away, so I can actually see what for once I can see in the viewfinder. So let's see if we can have a little bit of a look at that ship in the distance. You really need a tripod for this long range stuff, but handheld with Stabe is sometimes good enough. Larnaca in the distance. Hotels and stuff. Wind farm. Plenty of wind today. I don't understand why they turn off so many wind farms when it's windy. I know that when it gets really bad they have to feather them, otherwise they fall down, blow away, take off. So this lens makes things look a bit darker. It's not as fast as the other lens. Fast in terms of f number of stops of light. I think this is something like 5.1 to 7 point something. So it's a cheap one. But if it does the business, I don't care. I just want to be able to get some decent shots with decent autofocus. There was another ship out there, an interesting one, but it's vanished. I don't see it. It's disappeared. It looked like a submarine from the top of the hill. Maybe it was. Don't want to pan too fast because this thing really suffers from rolling shutter. So if you pan fast, it looks ghastly. The old power station that keeps breaking down. The headlands. This is Larnaca Bay. And at the moment it seems that I've got the beach to myself. My very own personal beach. So guys, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave me a like if you enjoyed any of this scenery or anything that I've said. Please stick around for the other reviews on the other lenses, and consider subscribing. The likes really help. The YouTube algorithm isn't doing me any favours at the moment, but it's not down to YouTube, it's down to people not wanting to watch what I produce, so a like would help. Thank you. Cheers guys, bye. So here we are guys with a Canon 75mm to 300mm lens. I'll try and keep it as stable as I can, but I'm being blown around something ruthless here. This is the one that's got the circular polarized filter on the end. So what I'm really interested in is the sea. Wow, it's windy, so windy. Oh, what do we see? We see if I mess with this filter. Can you see that glare disappearing or getting better as I move the filter, the circularly polarised filter? As far as I can see, it kind of works. Wow. need to find somewhere shelter, shady, where I'm not getting blown around. I don't think anything's in focus at all. So that's the full extent, that's 300mm lens. Which is very, very difficult to hold in these conditions. I'm surprised the sea isn't a little bit more rough. It's not rough at all. You might be able to hear the gunfire in the background, that's the Pongos doing their training. The red flags were out. It's not just small arms by the sounds. So I'm very interested in this circular polarizer. I won't be able to see this properly until I get back to the ranch, but it will give me some idea of what I can achieve. It just messes up the focus though. So guys, this is a 50mm focus free lens from AliExpress. Some people call it the Oreo lens because it looks like an Oreo. It's not much more different than just a lens cap itself, and its purpose is just to turn any DSLR or mirrorless camera into the old style point and shoot. Now I'm pretty sure that you won't get any fantastic images out of this, but the beauty is that you don't have to worry about focus, allegedly, or anything like that. Now that remains to be seen because I haven't tested this lens. It cost the princely sum of about $9 from AliExpress, and on the scale of lenses that's absolutely nothing. I mean it's nothing at all because fancy camera lenses can easily cost thousands of dollars, up to tens of thousands of dollars, but I'm never going to be in the market for any of those, so I have to make do and adapt what I have. Things that I find in junk shops, second-hand shops, gifts, things that people don't want anymore, and I adapt them to any camera bodies that I happen to have lying around. Most of my lenses are manual focus, and for filming cats and animals generally, they're just no good. I just can't, well, a proper photographer would be able to do it no doubt, but I can't do it. A proper videographer, I need to get those two terms sorted out. But this lens is supposedly perfect for street photography or videography, either of the two. I don't indulge in any of that because personally I think it's quite invasive to people's privacy, and I just don't do that. I watch some channels on YouTube who do it and who are very good at it, very talented photographers indeed, videographers, but I still believe they're invading people's privacy. I don't think you should ever take a recognisable photograph of someone without asking their permission. That's just my view. I don't believe it's the law, although in Cyprus I believe it could be the law. I don't think you're allowed to just go photographing people willy-nilly without asking their permission, and so it should be. because these guys on YouTube are making money out of images of other people. So in my view, they should share that money with the people whose images that people want to look at. I think it's only fair, but that's just me. I've only just found the sign that says that I'm not allowed to take photographs down here, so that should be interesting. I'm going to go for a walk right along here, but I'm not going to take you with me because it'll be a bit boring. But I need the exercise. I don't get out of the house nearly enough. I think I'm turning into a bit of a recluse. I've got a friend like that too. And eventually it kind of damages your health, and it can even cause sort of agoraphobia. And while I don't have any agoraphobia, as you can tell from the way that I can just come out here, sometimes it does make it a little bit difficult to leave the house. So many animals to care for. The camera's telling me that there's no stabilisation for this footage. It doesn't recognise the lens, so there isn't any in-body stabilisation in this camera I've got here, or IBIS, but it does have electronic stabilisation of a variety, where it kind of crops the image to help you stabilise it a bit, but it can't do it with this lens because it doesn't recognise the lens. There's no metallic contacts on the back of this lens. It's just a piece of plastic with a little bit of glass in the middle. And part of its appeal to sell to people is that you can just use it as a lens cap or a sensor cover. You can leave it on all the time and just bash it around, which isn't too bad an idea. And then it saves any damage to expensive lenses. Alright guys, that's it for this little Oreo lens. I can't see what it's like. I'll have to wait till I get back to see what it's like. It could be absolutely ghastly. Probably. Alright guys, see you later, bye.